My name is Matt Woods, and today we are going to discuss the essential employee regulations that you need to maintain HIPAA compliance in your practice. This is a very important topic because in 2016, employee error was the #1 cause of HIPAA violations throughout our country. And so to start off with HIPAA regulations, we're going to start off by training. HIPAA mandates that every employee has to go through HIPAA training before they're allowed to have access to protected health information. And this training not only needs to happen, but it also needs to be documented and signed off on by both the trainer and the trainee. And in addition to these initial trainings, HIPAA also mandates that you have a regular continuing education training for all of your employees. We recommend that these continuing education trainings happen at least once a year and should coincide with when you're redoing your risk assessment and all of your different plans that go along with your assessments. As you're redoing these assessments, it's going to make you aware of any holes that may have been in your previous policies, and so that would offer you a perfect time to redo your trainings to talk those over with your staff. Now we know that these trainings can be very laborious to put on, but they're also very expensive to not put on. One of our clients, they were working with a business associate, and that business associate was responsible for their practice management software. Now they were updating that software, and when they updated that software, the business associate employee was responsible for importing all of their data into their system, installing the new version of the software, and then exporting all of that back into the practice's software. Now when he was doing that, he was doing multiple practices at the same time, which was not what he was supposed to be doing. And as a result, he accidentally sent the wrong practices information to our client's database, which was a huge breach of information. Now I believe had this company been doing the appropriate training and continuing to educate their employees that this is a mistake that could have been missed. But because they weren't doing that, it was a very costly mistake for that company, and it's a mistake that you can avoid. And in addition to training, HIPAA also mandates that any employee mistake be met with an appropriate sanction. Now, because HIPAA is flexible in its nature, it doesn't tell you what those sanctions needs to be. And so that's up to you to determine what sanctions you're going to give for an employee mistake. But those sanctions have to happen, and they have to be documented. In the event that the Department of Health and Human Services and the Office of Civil Rights performs an audit on your practice, in addition to your risk assessments, they're going to be looking for your employee sanction policies. In addition to your sanction policy, they're also going to be looking for an employee termination policy. And in that policy needs to state who needs to be notified when an employee is going to be terminated, what order do those people need to be notified in, and what equipment and passwords need to be revoked upon an employee's termination. And so we recommend that one of the first people to be notified of an employee termination should be your network administrator. And the reason being is that before an employee is terminated, your network administrator should be notified so that they can go in and deactivate all of their usernames and passwords. The reason that they should do that is should the employee get angry over their termination and log in and use their login information to vandalize or delete information, that would be a huge liability to your practice. But if you notify your network administrator before they're terminated, they'll be able to deactivate their account before they try to make that choice. And so they won't be able to access your network, thus protecting you and your practice from a hidden HIPAA risk. So by having a proper termination policy, proper sanctions, and proper training, you'll not only protect yourself, but you'll also turn your employees into advocates that strengthen your HIPAA compliance rather than being a liability. And so if you haven't scheduled a HIPAA training in a while for your company, we would encourage you to schedule that today. And you can schedule that training and work with Strategy by emailing us at HIPAA@strategynewmedia.com.